everyone, Alyssa Reynolds here today talking about grounding. Specifically, I wanted to focus on what is grounding to me, because I have heard so many people, one, just asking the question, what in the world is grounding? Is it like earthing? Is it forest bathing? Why do I need to do it? Do I have to do it? What do I have to do while I ground? And they have what I used to have, and that is that really, really busy mind. I have always really been in my head. I'm a self-professed bookworm who, when I was a 10-year-old, thought my best summer day was to spend it underneath a big cherry tree reading a book. That's me in a nutshell, or at least that was me as a 10-year-old. Grounding was one of the things, along with various other experiences and my amazing team, that I began to move beyond being totally stuck in my head, because I got to the point where I was like, enough is enough. I don't want to be stuck in my head anymore because I keep coming up against me. I keep stopping myself because of all this chatter that is going on in my brain. And I hear a lot of people often talking about that as well. And so, what I wanted to say about grounding and what it's done for me is that it has helped with quieting my mind so much. And it also is just such a magical experience. All it is, whether you want to call it grounding or earthing or forest bathing, is going out in nature. Specifically, it's really recommended, and I second this as well, to put your back up against a tree, because that's the most direct way to really feel the tree's energy. And because trees are rooted into the ground, you're really, really getting connected with Gaia. You're really getting connected with the earth. You can even be putting your hands up against a tree and feel the energy that runs through it. But if you want to change up the grounding, the earthing, the forest bathing, specifically going in the forest bathing direction, walk through a forest. Walk past a river. Spend some time down by a lake. Because grounding is not just about the trees and the forests, as beautiful and wonderful as they are, and I could honestly spend and have spent videos just talking about trees or channeling my favorite tree just out that way in a little park across the street who's got the best wit ever. But this video is all about grounding in general, and you can also ground just by being around water, by putting your feet into water. I have always been very drawn to the ocean. I grew up right on a lake. And those spaces too are wonderful. They give a different sort of energy from walking through a forest. You're putting your back up against a tree, but it is still such a grounding, vibrant, just revitalizing energy. Which, to be fair, actually, I could probably say the same about trees and forests. But they're just different environments, and they all help you to ground. So, the question that I know is probably on many of the tips of all your tongues, because it's one of the ones that used to be on the tip of my tongue, which was, well, what do I actually have to do to ground? How do I ground? Actually, you don't have to do anything at all. Well, except for getting yourself physically outside and putting your back against that tree, walking through that forest, or walking along the lake or the ocean beach. You've got to get yourself actually outside. And once you're outside and you've put your back up against a tree, for example, you don't focus on your phone, you don't focus on journaling, you don't focus on recording anything, you don't focus on listening to music or playing your flute or whatever it is. All you focus upon is the nature around you. Focus on the wind as it rustles through the leaves. Focus on the calls of the birds. What did it feel like as you were walking up to that tree, or as you are walking through that forest or along that beach? What does each footstep feel? Does your foot sink into the sand? Does it bounce off of the soft loam of moss, or squelch in mud, or scrape over a root or some drier dirt? And even deeper, what do you feel when you are in these spaces? Do you feel peace? Do you feel calm? Do you feel like your thoughts are bouncing around back and forth like this and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about this. If you do get to that point, stop. Take a deep breath in, blow it out, and then ask your angel team or your spirit guides or whoever you wish to call upon and say, I am thinking too much about what I need to make for dinner. I am worrying too much about what I'm going to say to my friend. I am making lists in my head about what I need to do at work. Team, can you please take this thought and transmute it? Thank you. That's all you've got to say. What you've done is you've acknowledged you've had the thought and then you've passed it off. It's really, really a wonderful feeling to know that whatever thoughts you're having in your head, you don't need to have them anymore. And you're in such a wonderful environment, walking through a forest, maybe just putting your back against a tree, or walking across the ocean. It's so much more fun focusing on that environment anyway. Way more fun. I don't know about you, but all of those books that I read as a child that were full of fantastical other worlds, it just gets amplified when I'm out in nature. So, without further ado, because I could honestly just talk and talk about how wonderful nature is, I wanted to share with you a couple spaces that I have felt are so magical to be in. And I know that many of you are not able to get out and ground as often as you would like. So first, I would love to take you through a little forest called the Mystic Vale. And then I would like to take you across beaches that are just a little bit further up island to the northern end that have beautiful crashing waves. And as you're coming along with me in this journey through the little forest of Mystic Vale and then through all the ocean beaches up into Fino, I would love to hear down in the comments below what you are feeling as you watch and follow me along through those spaces. Do you feel simply peace, joy, happiness, curiosity? Or do you also feel maybe tingling down your arm, or pressure on your head, or heat in your heart chakra, or chills? Whatever it is, I would love to hear. Just down in the comments below. And so, without further ado, let's go on a little adventure.